you come in burned out at 1.9 million, and the following year we accelerated it from what looked like another $2 million year to 5 million. We're on target to do between 12.5 and 15 million this year.
You need someone who's done it already, and you're not special. Your type of industry can do this. You can treat your business in the same way as with this type of growth pattern and ethically grow your business or firm.
Hey everybody, it's Brandon Dawson here. Welcome back to another episode of Building Billions with Brandon Dawson, where we feature business owners, entrepreneurs, founders who are building successful businesses in order to inspire any of those that listen or watch the show on YouTube to understand that where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's resilience, there's results. And I love interviewing and featuring entrepreneurs, business owners who are killing it, crushing it in the marketplace. And so therefore today I have a guest, Shannon, and I'm going to have Shannon introduce herself and tell all this audience what she does and where she's from. Shannon.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shannon Engler, and I am a lawyer based out of San Diego, California. Specifically Vista area. We are nationwide, where we're basically an immigration law firm, but we help mostly trafficking and domestic violence victims.
So here we are. You're on a mission, and you're also a lawyer. I get asked all the time, Shannon. I get asked all the time. People say, well, there's got to be businesses you can't do, like lawyers or like accountants or like this or like that. And I say, hey, man, we've run $7 billion of businesses through Cardone Ventures in the last 60 months. And there isn't anybody we can't help if they have the desire and the willingness to learn how to start, grow, scale, optimize, and eventually, if they choose to, exiting their business. And you are one of those founders, business owners. Explain how and why you got your business started and what the passion and the mission behind it was.
So we started the business, I say we because my husband, I was a lawyer, and I say we started the business because first I was a lawyer with a law practice. I didn't have a business. I was just going through the motions. I wasn't looking at revenue. I didn't know anything about profitability or gross margin or anything to do with business. And my husband and I said, there's got to be a better way that we can serve more people. We can help people and do it in a more efficient way. I was coming home from court exhausted, and it wasn't scalable. And so we decided, you know what, we need to start treating this like a business and ethically run everything to where our goal is to help as many people as possible. We want to help, like we first said 100,000, and at one of your workshops, like, why not make it 1 million? I'm like, why not make it 1 million? We want to help 1 million people and really reach as many as possible. And after that, as you and Grant would say, is after we get to probably 500,000, we're going to probably make it 10 million and then 100 million. We just want to keep going. And we decided to really focus and treat this like a business so that we can help not only the people, our clients, but also our employees. And it's just been such a great journey since.
Yeah. And so when did you start your own firm?
I became a lawyer in 2012, and I started my own firm in 2014. And I didn't start treating it like a business until 2019.
And what caused you to decide, I'm going to treat this like a business? What was the first kind of thought?
Exhaustion.
Yep.
We had enough of having enough of just being exhausted and not being able to reap any benefits. Employees were frustrated. I only had one at the time, and I thought I was going to lose them. And it was really just, it's me, right? You got to look at it and say, I need to do something better and stop acting like it's happening to me, and let me go ahead and take some action, massive action, and improve it.
That's amazing. And so it was you and one employee, and how much revenue were you doing in 2019?
That year we closed at 185,000.
So $185,000 of revenue. Now you're pushing, you've made this emotional commitment. I have to get bigger. But as you're trying to get bigger, what's happening as you're trying to push through, add more people, promote better, see more clients, close more cases? Talk a little bit about what was starting to happen in the business.
As we started growing in the business, we realized, there's no systems. We would start to create systems. We didn't do it either properly, or I would have it in my head and someone would have to come find me. And if I was stuck in court or something, then they didn't know what to do, and everything was at a pause because it all fell on me. I just wasn't delegating. And then when I did delegate, I abdicated. I didn't delegate. And that was huge. And I learned that heavily with especially with Cardone Ventures. You guys helped me a lot with that.
Yeah, you sound like right out of my leadership program.
Yes.
Abdication versus delegation. It's a death spiral. So look, when did you start working with, when did you realize I need help? And you hear me say all the time, all the business owners need to do is raise their hand and say, I need help. When did you raise your hand and say, Cardone Ventures, I need help?
I raised my hand the night I met you in April 2023 at the couples retreat in Cabo. You sat with my husband and I at the bonfire, and in 25 minutes explained every pain point, everything that was happening, how I wasn't special, how you absolutely knew what you could do to help me. And the next day we signed up for Elite 125.
Yeah. So just people that are listening to this, you don't know what Elite 125 is, but I will tell you, it's when a business owner says, I want you to engineer my business plan. I want you to come alongside for the next 2 or 3 years, hold our hands, help us. I want to go through all your programs, and I want to be coached in your leadership program where we help entrepreneurs become remarkable leaders. And if you added up all those programs and all of our training programs, and you just committed to it at once, you'd be spending somewhere around $400,000 or $500,000 commitment. Now, some people would say that's absolutely crazy. You meet Brandon Dawson one time, you talk to him for 25 minutes, and you make a $500,000 commitment. How big was your business when that conversation took place?
We had closed 2022 at 1.9.
1.9. And we met in first quarter, just after first quarter of 2023. You were like, I'm frustrated. Your frame of mind coming to that couples retreat, when you came in as a lawyer, I mean, it's great. You went from 180,000 in 19, 10x'd it to 1.9 million. So that is a phenomenal feat. But what were you still struggling with even at just under 2 million?
Scalability. I was really at the max. I went to attorney coaching groups, and they're all talking about just hit 7 figures. That's all you need, as if that was the magic pill. And it wasn't the magic pill. And I didn't want to just hit 7 figures because it meant I wasn't helping as many people as I wanted to help. And so one coach told me I should probably just slow down. And that's when I knew I needed someone like you that was going to tell me 10x. And once I 10x, I should probably be 10xing again. And so it just was one of those things where you were going to help us, just like you knew Grant could help you get to where you wanted to go with your goals, how you explain it in your book. It's the same thing. I looked at you and I'm like, he knows how to help me get where I need to go. And we're all here to help people. So we were very much aligned, and let's do this.
That's awesome. And so you show up, you know what you're frustrated with, you know what you're struggling with, and you have the ability to make a good decision fast, which, by the way, one of the first tests for successful entrepreneurs, for people listening or watching this, is when they see something that's obvious, they can make a very quick decision to do something, no matter how much it costs, because they put themselves in a position to win. So the thing that you had done is you'd been responsible in building your business. You were pursuing your mission of helping trafficked human beings be able to become U.S. residents and citizens. And you were passionate about that, and you were passionate about being a lawyer, but you were burning yourself out. So now all of a sudden you're like, how do I 10x my passion, my joy, and also not burn myself out and have to stop doing what I'm doing? And you saw and heard, because I re-engineered what it's like to build a $2 million business. And you're like, I checked every single box that you talked about. And then I talked about what needs to go to 3 million, and then 5 million, and then 10 million. You're like, okay, these are all the things I need to know then. And so you were like, I'm in, I made a good decision. Your one question to me on the beach was, have you ever helped a lawyer? I said, we help so many different professionals, and including lawyers. And you were like, okay, we're done. We're going to do this. Yeah. Now, that was a year and a quarter ago. Yeah. I just looked at your stats for what you're on target to do in revenue this year, because some people would say there's some naysayers out there. You know, there's a lot of these fake coaches. There's a lot of these pretend gurus for scaling businesses, and they'll say things like, oh, you spent 30 grand or 50 grand or 100 grand. You're crazy. You're stupid. I do it for free. And I always say that's because that's what the value is. It's free advice because it's free garbage. So it's somebody else's free garbage. So for those naysayers out there, I just want you to talk a little bit about, because I just looked at your numbers, what you're going to do based on what you've done the first half of this year. Do you know what your revenues are going to be in 2024 based on the first half of the year?
Well, so based on the first half of the year, we thought it was tracking closer to about 12 million. But if you look at how we skyrocketed in July and we're tracking for August, it's looking around 14 million.
So I just want to make sure everybody's clear. You come in burned out, feeling burned out at 1.9 1.9 million. And the following year, after it took us almost a year, or it took us 9 months to engineer, 7 months to engineer your business. What did you do from us helping you engineering your business? What did you do in 2023, the year we started working together?
We closed 2023 at 5 million.
So you went from 1.9 million, which you were trending by Q1, and you were still trending at that rate and still feeling burned out. Yeah. So we accelerated it from what looked like another $2 million a year to 5 million. We're on target to do between 12.5 and 15 million this year, and you're highly profitable in the process. So the question for those naysayers out there, what would you say to those people that said, you made a horrible choice, you're crazy, you don't know what you're doing, Dawson sold you, this is all just a big scam? What would you say to those people?
Man, they're not paying attention to the signs. This is absolutely the real deal. Now, let's be real. There's no magic pill, right?
Yep.
You didn't make this happen per se. You gave me the tools, and you gave my team the tools to then execute. So anyone who doesn't want to execute and take the massive action that's required, they're never going to get to any level higher than they're at now. There's levels of the game. And I didn't want to be mediocre anymore. I wanted to be great. And what does it take? Massive action. You just every day.
So you said something that's quite interesting, and it's the nuance of the thousands of entrepreneurs we've interviewed from 2009 on. The entrepreneurs or the business owners that are like, no, I'm comfortable, things are good. They don't make massive changes. They just kind of consistently sit at some revenue number until they no longer make money because all costs go up over time. You said I was frustrated. And what I'll say to you, if you're listening to this as a business owner, you're like, I'm frustrated too. Look, sometimes you just need to get yourself to a place where you're like, I'm either all in or I'm out. Like, I have nothing to lose, so I'm going to be crazy enough to go all in, which on the beach, I could see it in your face. You're like, look, I can't keep this pace. I'm frustrated. I have this huge mission. I don't know how to execute to it. And to your point, I didn't promise we were going to do the work for you. I said, we'll teach you the rules. I'll teach you the 10 elements of starting and scaling and optimizing and leading teams. We'll organize your business. We'll take the friction and the stress and resistance out. We'll help you find the right people, align them with the right duties and responsibilities, and we'll just come alongside and work with you. And so here we are, literally a year and a half almost later. You finished the year at 150% growth. This year, you're from where you started with us, you're going to see, an 8x growth. What does your life look like today relative to how frantic it was then, relative to what it's like now? And how many employees do you have?
Man, what our life looks like now is we have more freedom to run the business how we want, make better decisions, look at scaling it back out to helping more and more people. We started with a passion to helping U.S. businesses with their employees, and we're branching back out into some of that to help find the right workers that they need for their farms, for everything that they can't find sometimes. And so one, we're more at choice. That was huge for us. We just needed this freedom of not being held hostage by having to do something. And, it kind of all started for me in Chile when I was an exchange student in high school. That's where I learned Spanish. And actually, we're filming this from Chile again. I left Elena's events this week, Wednesday, and our Tuesday night, and woke up in Chile on Wednesday morning. And I had that opportunity because of the way we're running the business, and we're working from here now for the next week and a half. And right now, I believe we're hiring about 4 more people today. So hopefully by the end of the day, we're at 61 employees.
So you struggle with one, and then you fast forward, you're at 60 plus employees, and you're able to leave the country, pursue some of your personal aspirations as well, and help a lot more people. I think this is now, of course, the naysayers would say you're in a space that's growing and it's popular, but the point is, if you were ill prepared to take advantage of that because you didn't know the rules, you didn't know how to hire, you didn't know how to find, attract, align, develop, and keep good people, you didn't know how to onboard them, 30, 60, 90-day onboarding plans, you didn't know how to incentivize them, you didn't know how to run your promotion, the 7 promotes, like all the rules and all the things, and then all the leadership skills, the naysayers would say, oh, you probably could have done that anyway. But what would you say to people that are thinking, well, I'll just figure it out along the way?
Why would you want to reinvent the wheel if the wheel's already been created? Follow someone who's been down the path you've been. They're going to help you find where the road bumps are. They're going to help you. You can't solve everything, but if I know it's coming, I know how to prepare for it. So having a coach, and what I feel is just like this team, your team is my team. I ask them questions. I tell them my worries, and they hold my hand and help me. as much as I need. And why would you not want that? And, one of the things with people say, well, yeah, maybe I could put this energy in doing it unethically or not. I could grow with just taking any type of case, but I love the United States. I only want to work with people who I could see as being my personal neighbor living next door to me. And so we are doing this on such an ethical high line that our growth is even more extraordinary because I won't take everyone who walks in my door.
And let's be honest. I mean, we need this workforce that's willing to do a lot of different kind of work that a lot of Americans have been. When I was a kid, I used to work in the strawberry fields. Right. That's how I made money, and that was the expectations. I bucked hay. I worked in the strawberry fields. I harvested the walnut orchard. Like that was the work that you were expected to do when you were a kid, because that was the work that people needed help with during the summer. Now, fast forward, a lot of Americans are unwilling to do a lot of that work today. And yet our food source and the protecting it and harvesting it and making sure we're nurturing it is critically important to the national security. So you're not just providing jobs, you're also taking care of the national security of this country to make sure the right people are doing the right jobs and they're doing it the right way. For me, as you know, on my team, I have individuals from all over the world working with us that have immigrated here. And I got one kid who's going to be 25 this year. His mother was killed by the cartel. He's going to be a millionaire at the end of this year, and based on how much money he's already invested in Cardone Capital. And it's like some of the hardest working people on the planet aren't from this country, and they don't have the ability to execute their skill set if not properly led and coached in other countries like they can here. So when you're finding these people and you're bringing them in and you're helping entrepreneurs find workforce that labor. I mean, and to be honest, I have a home in Mexico. I'm a Mexican resident. The quality of the home I have in Mexico, I've yet found a home up here in the United States that was built as good as my home in Mexico, and the speed in which they build. Mm-hmm. And so to me, it's like we need a organized, structured legal workforce that's killing it for this country, because our infrastructure is horrible right now. And here you're dedicating your life to helping individuals that want to improve their life, legal, moral, ethical, and compliantly. You're helping them find a path with business owners who want to grow and scale and optimize their business with a trusted, qualified work group that can help them. And so it's a perfect match. And here you are. Let me ask you this question, your leadership development, because when I hear you talk like someone who's been going through the programs. Your communication's very concise, and that the words you even use are things that we teach. Use these words at these points in time, because where there's confusion, there's failures. Talk about your own personal leadership and business acumen growth over the last year and a half, because I'd really like people to hear what it's like when you're doing it, learning and doing it at the same time, versus just learning it and hoping that you'll do it later.
So, and I'm not even ashamed to say this. One of the things you said that resonated with me, and it just hit home: when you're high emotions, you're functioning in low intelligence. You can be so smart, but if you're using your emotions, you're not going to be making the business decisions based on facts and data. And that is one of the first things I started implementing. And it's a rule in my company now. If we start anything with a feel without data, we have to pause. And it was one of the first things we implemented. And I just had a meeting that was semi-elevated yesterday with there's a problem in the firm with one employee, and he said, I know I'm not supposed to feel, so I'm going to stop and go get some data and I'll be back.
That's great. Yes. So someone's got to be in charge, and someone has to have rules. And so the quote I always talk to business owners about is high emotion is low intelligence. So if you're celebrating, you can have all the emotion in businesses you want, but if you're debating or arguing or confronting, having high emotion will pull everything off target and make it compoundedly worse. And so as an attorney who's got an expertise, what's it like to evolve to an attorney who's also becoming an expert entrepreneur business owner?
It just opens so many doors, and it makes me want so many other attorneys to come along. I made my tax attorney sign up with you. I told her, come on, you have to join Cardone Ventures. But other than that, there's still this resistance. There's this archaic doctrine of sacrifice. We're going to stay in this miserable state so many lawyers are in. And I just feel like I broke free of that historical, I don't know, historically, that's just what all attorneys do. They're just miserable and overworked. And And I just love that I get to wake up and be at choice. Yes, is there hard work? Of course, you're working hard every day as well. But we know where we're going. We have a goal, and it's a very educated, designed path that we're doing. We might not know every path, but we know where we're going.
What's it like to actually have an engineered blueprint that you can refer to and reflect on a daily basis to see exactly how big your business can be, how valuable it can be, and how to execute the step-by-step process to scaling system that we've created with our breakpoints?
It's magical. I can't believe what a relief it is to have this amazing glide path of, okay, oh my gosh, they've done it before. This isn't new. I'm not special, and I get to go ahead and follow their path. So what is it like? It really makes me feel secure in the decisions I've made. I don't even think about any of the money I've invested. People ask what I've spent, and spending is wasting. I've invested money, and the return on investment is insane. It's been amazing to have you as someone on my team, I feel.
And what would you say to lawyers, accountants, professionals out there that are just banging their head against the wall, struggling, wanting to create a bigger impact in this world, but they're just struggling with the doing of the business?
It's absolutely solvable. I call them problemtunities. If you have a problem, there's an opportunity to resolve it. So if you're in that situation, there's a solution. And you need someone who's done it already, and you're not special. Your type of industry can do this. You can treat your business in the same way as with this type of growth pattern and ethically grow your business or firm.
What's it like to bring somebody from not thinking they're going to be employable, not be able to get a job, and all of a sudden you get them legal for the business owner, you get them legal for the individual, and they're able to change their life by producing in the greatest country in this world for the ability to make choices for your own personal success? What's it feel like for you a year later or 2 years later when you see a client or talk to a client, you find out how well they're actually flourishing and prospering in this country?
It's amazing because some of our clients, even before they have work authorization, they're so proud to bring me their tax returns. They make cash. They're handed $30 bills, and they're declaring all of it. Our clients are amazing anyway. And then when I asked a woman the other day when she got her green card, I'm like, what's next? She's like, I never knew there could be a next. And so we're launching kind of a personal, professional, financial goal activity for all clients who have legal documents so that they now can start paving their way to what their American dream looks like and ensuring that they have the support. And we've decided we're going to take that on, and we're creating a foundation to help educate people so that it's information that they can do. And it's I got to tell you, the people that have worked this hard to get here or have suffered this much, there's nothing they won't do. And they're awesome, upstanding people. They all want to either open a business or help their family's business. He's like, I don't want to leave the person who hired me 20 years ago. So I just want to make his business better because I'm so loyal to him now. And so it's like, you can just see that this really great ethical core to them of like, it's just amazing. And we do this thing where they get to come and put their dream on a star and put it up on a wall in our office. So it's a tangible, like they've achieved a dream. And so we have this growing star wall of thousands of different clients.
That's so cool. I'm a founder with Michael Milken in his lifelong project called The American Dream in Washington, D.C., where we feature, it's going to be opening at the end of this year, early next year, but it's where we feature just the remarkable stories of people who have come to this country and entirely changed the trajectory of not only their life, but in many cases, of their heritage. I mean, like their kids, the future perspective for the next version of the family success coming from wherever in the world they came from. And the stories are remarkable, very emotional when you hear about how oppressive some of these places in the world are. And then they get to the US and they're able to achieve and flourish and prosper and succeed here. So the American dream is something that clearly we all believe in, and you're affecting it for many businesses business owners.
Mhm.
How proud are you to know that you have made the choice? Because what you said earlier, and I think it's important for business owners to hear when you say, you got to do the hard work and you guys really help us and everything. But at the end of the day, the truth is you just got to be willing to make one of the hardest choices of your life, which is to get help from the right people. And you guys did your homework on who you could trust to come alongside and help you. How did you land with all the noise in the marketplace with all these false scaling gurus and stuff? How did you land on us? And what was it that got your attention about what we were saying that allowed you to make the decision you made?
We landed with Cardone Ventures specifically through Grant Cardone. I started following Grant and I read 10X and I decided, yeah, I'm a go-getter. Since I was a kid, my family said I jump out of the airplane and then go, oh, I think I need a parachute. Like, I'm a go-getter and I take action, but sometimes I did it without proper planning. And so I bought into this 10X belief system, started following and seeing that he actually is a man of his word, does what he says he's going to do. And then I learned about you. So we studied up on you as we're going to this couples retreat. I'm like, oh, Brandon has a great history. And man, 29 years old, ringing the bell at the stock exchange. Like, okay, he knows business. He knows what he's doing. And it just felt like you two had this perfect union of the sales and the marketing and the logistics and the operations. And so for us, you put enough out there that we could see that you were trustworthy and you are putting yourself out there. So you're not hiding behind anything. And so we were able to go, okay, this probably isn't going to go wrong because they're putting themselves out here. They wouldn't be putting themselves out here like this if it was going to go wrong. But we did know it was up to us to execute on what you're providing us.
That's awesome. Well, I can tell you firsthand that when I meet somebody who has enough confidence in themselves, it's your ability to make a good decision really has nothing to do with what's going on around you as a human. It has to do with how much you actually trust yourself. So when people stutter, stammer, pause, think about it, have to go poll POLL everyone else to ask what they should do, it's because they have zero trust in themselves. When you looked at your husband, he looked at you, you looked at me, you're like, we're in. Like,
Yeah.
they were like, it was like this. And this is a tip, a pro tip for anybody listening and watching this, is that when you have confidence and trust in yourself, and you're aware enough to understand your limitations, your frustrations, but you're encouraged enough or curious enough to know if you can actually pursue your passion and your joy and your mission and your purpose. If your mission and your purpose is bigger than your insecurities or fears or lack of awareness, sometimes you just got to make that big decision to go all in. But what I found with business owners is when their passion is greater than their fear of failure and their awareness about what they're actually struggling with, as soon as they see something that could fix it, it's not just with me, it's anything, like it could be interviewing somebody, it could be investing in something, it could be buying something, whatever it is. People who have confidence and trust in themselves can make quick decisions. People who have lost confidence and trust in them can't. And then the people around them certainly don't trust them. So they're always going to tell them not to do something. I just want to acknowledge that when I met you, the courage you displayed and the commitment to what you're doing as a professional exuded out of you. So I knew when you said, yes, I'm in, you were going to absolutely be a rock star. And I just want to tell you how proud we are here of the work you're doing, because the one thing for certain that I do recognize, you can know all the rules, you can have all the help. It's still very difficult to change all the inner aspects of your life in order to change the outer aspects, and to be able to confront, have the resilience and courage to overcome, and then take action to get results. And that's what you're demonstrating in real time. And let me ask, you're a female-owned business, right?
Yes.
And that is even statistically harder. 97% of all businesses fail in 10 years. Very small percentage of all businesses are female-owned. So the opportunity to statistically succeed is difficult enough for anybody, let alone a female-owned or minority-owned business. And so to see how well you're doing, you are becoming a huge example to all female entrepreneurs, which is really why I wanted to have you on this show here. We want to celebrate women in business. Elena just had her event. There was 2,000 people there. And I believe that this new economy, the 12 to $14 trillion of small business space, needs more dedicated women building businesses. They tend to make better decisions and act faster and are more logical than most men. Don't be offended if you're a man and you hear me say that, but you men, you all know whenever you're going to make a decision, you say, I got to go home and talk to my wife. Because at the end of the day, women have, I believe, more logic in a lot of cases, and they're used to confronting bigger, more painful things and moving through them than most men are. And so I just want to commend you and tell you how proud we are of your success. I hope that this podcast inspires more female-owned business owners to reach out and meet people like you. And if they wanted to connect with you, if you're a lawyer, a professional, or female-owned business or minority-owned business, and you're like, this is so inspiring, I want to have this kind of success, where would people find you?
They can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at Dyad Law, DYAD Law, and it stands for Define Your American Dream.
Beautiful. And we will include that on the show here. So look, thank you for trusting us and being our partner. And thank you for the work that you do. This country needs it. These business owners need it. And the people you're working with need it. And thank you for being selective on who you are helping, because we need the right people in the right place doing the right things with the right intentions. And I think there is some general concerns about that today with how all this is going on. But really appreciate you. Love watching you become a $125 million business and changing so many lives over the next few years. And we will, when we hit some of these bigger targets, we will refresh this podcast. Because as you know, I love going back and revisiting the success of our owners and business owners that we work with, because it's such an inspiration to everybody else. So thank you so much for joining me on Building Billions with Brandon. And I cannot wait to continue to celebrate your success.
Thank you to you and Natalie and the rest of the team.